Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to part 42 of Yakuza 0. Last episode, we not only beat Mr. Shakedown, but we got our first interview, which turned out to be a scammer that only came there just to get cab fare. Hopefully, we don't have another person like that. That would just be a pain in the ass if we did. So, this one is actually going to be much more of a refined person, sort of. So let's get this interview going and see if we can actually hire an employee this time around. Ironically enough, we have to do this 3 times actually, when we already did it once last part. So this is our second time around. And I'm pretty sure if this is the second time around, you know for a fact that this employee, or should I say, this interview right here may go south real fast. However, speaking of things going south real fast, I forgot to push the button. Sorry about that. I left the thing on without pausing the recording. That's what happens when people just tend to interrupt me while I'm trying to record something. Anyway, what we're doing is actually pretty important. I think I brought it up in the last part, but for those who probably skipped that part because they thought it was too boring, if you did, you probably missed the fact that I beat Mr. Shakedown. I don't even know why you missed that part, but whatever the case, you probably would know that I mentioned that these interviews are important because we're getting ourselves a security guard. This interview, by the way, is available as soon as you start the Real Estate King sub-story. And this right here, the Real Estate King missions, is where you're going to get all your money. But you also need other security guards just in case the security guards start, losing stars and not being able to defend anything. And more importantly, when they have their low point, you gotta have more security guards to switch out. As cute as she is, as much as the camera pans on her backside, not that there's anything wrong with that, that's absolutely fine with me. As much as she looks dignified, there is a reason why there's 3 interview missions instead of 1. So, yeah, you're gonna have to see through the holes of this lady's story because she's just so good to be true. Or I think the saying was too good to be true. I can't believe I botched that. But, you gotta at least pinpoint the holes and the lies of this particular interview candidate. Because she too will end up taking your money if you hire her. Actually, no. She doesn't take your money when you hire her. Kiryu will actually find out that there's something wrong with her story. So, you're not going to be able to hire this one anyway. The thing is, you're going to have to point out what's exactly wrong with her story. And that's where memory comes into play. Because she mentions that she wears that she's in a traditional inn. And that she happened to serve certain things. And also, she mentions that she wears white underwear. Okay, that right there is also a problem. Because in an interview, nobody cares what kind of underwear you're wearing. So, first and foremost, it doesn't matter what you ask her. Just ask her what you could cook or whatever, but when you ask her what you could cook, pay attention to what she says. But also pay attention to everything else she says. Because all of this sounds ingenuine. I mean, if you have experience in job interviews, you probably wouldn't be nervous. But if you don't have experience and this is your first job, you'll be nervous as hell. And that's how recruiters know that you are a genuine article. Now, if you're experienced and you actually want to have them to help you, like get you on their job and all that stuff, they'll understand. However, interviewers can also know when you're full of bullcrap. And if you probably look in detail as to what she could cook and also her fitness. Well, her fitness, for one, she mentions that she's very fit and all that good jazz. But what she cooks is what you need to worry about. Just about everything she cooks in the inn sounds absolutely nothing like what you would cook in an actual inn. Normally, a traditional inn would cook Japanese food. She's well versed in cooking American food. And normally, Japanese inns normally cook either sushi or okonomiyaki or something of that nature that is closer to traditional Japan. Nothing, she says, is closer to traditional Japan. So, Marina was about to hire her right on the spot. And she was just saying everything that she said to try to warm up to Marina. However, Kiryu is spotting the bullshit. Now then, for those of you who don't understand, if you aren't too familiar with what she's asking, ask for her summary again so you can understand where her problem is. But I can tell you, it's what she cooks and her summary are the bad things. Or if you probably didn't pay attention, try to go over what she has. See exactly what's going on. And then you can understand that signature dishes that she cook is practically just basic food that Americans also can cook too. Meatloaf is not there. Yeah, gratins and European pastas and white sauce. Yeah, that is not a traditional inn food. So I'm just doing that just to make sure that people understand that what she needs to do. Now what you need to do is point out her inaccuracies. Again, she wins Marina over, who is pretty much like deceptively aware that she's she's probably unaware that she's being played, but at the exact same time, Kiryu's on to her. But it's going to repeat that she's going to repeat all those things she says until you go to point out the inconsistency in her statements. The only reason I'm going over the summary is because I went a little bit too fast for the what she can cook and her summary. So now that I did that, time to point out the inconsistency. So, go for summary and signature dishes. That's the one that you need to point out. Because again, let me mention, meatloaf is not in a family traditional run in. Not at all. And she was put in the kitchen, and all she can make is American food. It just finally dawned on Marina that she is a fraud. And oof. Not only did this one show up to be a fraud, this one's kinda smart mouth. Man, she literally had Marina going. And despite her having a pretty face, dude, she has a smart mouth. The one thing that really got her is the fact that she literally mentioned her panties was white. Oh, and she also listens to hip hop. Why does it have to be hip hop? Whatever. But this interview did not work. As a matter of fact, she too tried to get this fake interview. She too tried to be a fake interview candidate just so that she could get cab fare just like the other guy did. So, with that said, that's 2 interviews down, 1 more to go. So, this one hopefully will be... No, actually, this one is going to be the last one. But we had to at least get those done at least to get the 3rd one, which will in fact get our security guard. And also, this is working towards getting another completion point bonus because of the fact that we made, we pretty much do all this, I think it's 20 first and then 40. Yeah, if we do 40 sub-stories, that's going to get another completion point bonus. And then afterwards, 60, doing them all would actually get another completion point bonus. So that's basically what this is for. Doing these sub-stories will get you completion point bonuses. So let's go on ahead and interview our last candidate. This one's not a fraud. We'll have to put on the glasses one last time, and this one definitely isn't a fraud because it's first impressions. And his first impression, how should I put it to you? This guy, he's a nervous wreck. So, let's just let him in and let's see what he's all about. So, is he gonna come in or what? Ah, there he is. And this is Koshimizu. In case you're wondering, this is our security guard. All we gotta do is get through this interview. Yes, you have to do 3 interviews just to get him. And of course he's nervous, and he's got the jitters. You wanna know why? This is his very first job. And his handwriting is terrible. I think he probably got nervous while writing the resume And he went there and ended up messing up the resume. So, with that said, we're going to have to find out why this guy applied with us.
Yeah.
And just as you expect, he'd be too nervous to tell you. So, he wanted to go into business because his father was in the real estate business. And the way his father did business, it ended up... he ended up making very little profit, which ended up putting his real estate agency into debt. So, he wants to try to follow in his father's footsteps, but not in a way where it will actually cause his family to be in debt. So, in other words, Kiryu is finding out this man is honest. So what Kiryu is going to do is pretty much try to vouch for him and try to control the situation so that you could actually win over... No, not you, but rather Koshimizu can actually win over Marina. Because that's the last other person you have to win over. Since she's the one who put out the interview for him. So, with that said, thanks to the heart-to-heart, at least Kiryu actually got to know the guy a little bit better. So, the thing is, Koshimizu constantly gets nervous, and it ends up causing him to say stupid things, which caused him to fail his interview. And this is where you come in. You're going to have to help him actually ace his interview. Otherwise, he'll be fired. But don't worry, Kiryu will still hire him whether he fails or not. So, here's the thing. You're going to have to listen closely to what he's trying to say. And people get thrown off on this particular one. And first thing he says is Eagle studies. What he's trying to say actually is legal studies. And he got so nervous. Now what he was trying to say is his hobby is to dine out. So we're gonna have to I meant he was trying... We're going to have to try to decipher what he was saying. So what he was trying to say was legal studies. So basically he's well known in legal matters. So that way... the job that he's working for would basically make things a lot easier. Yeah, we kind of need somebody on the legal side, especially when we have to deal with punks and the like trying to ruin our businesses. So, the impression of him is his hobby is liking to dine out. So, you're going to have to tell Marina the relevance of his hobby since he dines out everywhere and he has pretty much experience in restaurants, and let's say he knows the dining scene. And honestly, the dining scenes is pretty much easy to understand because it's also commercial properties. And since we work in real estate, knowing the dining scenes, you can get update information of all the commercial properties in the entirety of Kamurocho, which makes it easy for them to buy more restaurants. More importantly, to try to take down the kings. And he almost got nervous. Just go on and ask him, why did you apply with us? And that should be the last thing, and hopefully it will calm him down. Hopefully. And no, actually, he was nervous as hell, and he jumbled that up. But at least we could actually hire him, at least. Hopefully. Oh, good. So, with that said, Koshimizu is now officially our security staff member. However, it's not over yet. Despite how nervous the man is, and he got the job, he's going to be so excited that the man's going to end up forgetting his bag. Yeah, that would be really dumb, especially since, well, it's not really dumb, it's more along the lines of a dumb mistake, especially since this guy actually took the taxi. It has his wallet and his boarding pass on the train as well, so we might want to take that to him. Now then, I did say it wasn't over yet. Because as soon as we find Koshimizu, we also find something else. The interviewers that we had in the last 2 parts, well, they're practically agents of Dio. They're abusing dogs. I'm sorry. Every time I see animal cruelty, Dio's the first person I think of. God, these people suck. And Koshimizu is actually coming to defend the dog. That's freaking awesome. However, here's the downside about Koshimizu. Yes, he's hired. He's also a 2-star security staff, so, Koshimizu's going to take everything that this guy gives him, but while that man's just standing over him and it's looking like he's being stomped, at the same exact time, for this type of game, that actually was something, well, very hate-sinkish. People just do not like those 2 interviewers. At least we actually see people getting stomped into the ground later on in Like a Dragon, but for its time, Zero really couldn't do too much. But at least we got ourselves another security staff. That means I think we only need maybe 2 more security staffs, one from the Pleasure King and one more from the Electronics King, and also the Gambling King too. And we were pretty much set. That's basically all of them. But for right now, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Because guess what? By that time, the Pleasure King will be at 60% and we'll have to deal with him. This is RPMan985. See you guys next time.